Good morning. It is Sunday, April 30th, day 51 on the Appalachian Trail. Woke up this morning. I'd heard it sprinkle a little bit during the night. I was at Saunders shelter last night, the first shelter outside of Damascus going northbound. There were several of us there. A couple of guys down around the bend that I didn't get acquainted with. They came later and didn't really check in with the rest, but Pinto and Papa and Hydro and High Def, High Speed, River Song, and myself. Oh, and Reese's Cup, a young Swedish lad, was there as well. So the only ones that had left before me were High Speed and River Song. Interesting bunch of folks. High Def is actually a veterinarian, has all kinds of stories to tell. High Speed is from Toronto, younger guy. River Song is a solar physicist. Oh, there goes a deer. You see him? He just disappeared right across the trail about 50 feet in front of me. Interesting. Surprised me. Anyway, she's a solar physicist for NASA down in Huntsville. Designs equipment to study solar flares. And it was funny last night. It was a really cool sunset last night. Throw a picture of that up here again, maybe. I went around the building and said, hey, you guys need to come see the sunset. And then afterwards it occurred to me, she sees sunsets all the time. She studies that sort of thing. So anyway, it was fun. We were telling science jokes and clips from movies this morning around the table, breakfast. So had a good time. All kinds of interesting folks you're meeting on the trail. Just thinking about one of the more interesting fellows, Huya, who retired after 40 years and retired as director of the Navy's Oceanic Engineering Department. They do everything from deep sea diver training to underwater rescue, salvage, a whole portfolio of different kinds of activities. Super interesting guy. It was a lot of fun. I've seen them several times. He and his wife Buttercup are out here hiking. Seen them several times on the trail. He wasn't actually Navy. He was a civilian employee with the Navy. So that's what he did. But all kinds of interesting stories. So this morning when I got up, it had sprinkled a little bit during the night. Had my tarp up, but it didn't really rain. It was sort of, it had some dampness on it, but not a lot on the tarp. And I sort of put everything away except the hammock and the tarp itself. And took my food out of the bear box. I had a bear box there last night, which was really nice. And put it on the table. I was going to sit down and eat something, and then it started to act like it was going to drizzle again, or rain maybe. And so I thought, well, I better go put my tarp away before it gets wet. So I did, and good decision. As soon as I got done, pulled my pack under the shelter, and got back to fixing something for breakfast. Started to rain a little bit more, so another good decision. I'm glad I pulled up last night, even though it was a short hike yesterday. I'm glad I pulled up and stayed at Saunders shelter last night, and discovered on the way out that there are two entrances to it, one coming southbound, one going northbound. And so I got to two blue blaze trails where they diverged, and thought, where in the world am I supposed to go? So I looked at my far out map, and I could tell where it was, but had the airplane mode on, and you can only zoom in so far with that and see where you're at on the map, not the elevation profile, but the map. And then it occurred to me that maybe I should turn my airplane mode off and see if that does anything. Sure enough, it did. I could zoom in a lot more for detail on the map of far out. I didn't realize that before, so now I know, and so do you, if you have far out and are using it. But turn your airplane mode off, and you'll get a more detailed map of where you're at on the map. And so I took the other Blue Blaze trail on the way out, and so didn't have to backtrack any coming back out of the shelter. We've got some mud coming down the hill here. I'll have to be a little bit careful. The other thing that I did this morning that I thought was kind of an interesting discovery was I've been carrying some granola that had been given to me by the Frontier Camping Fellowship folks, the Royal Rangers down at Burningtown Gap super group. Probably my favorite trail magic ever, with that bowl of chili that they had there. That was fantastic. Anyway, I had this bag of granola that I've been carrying around, not quite finished, and I picked up a packet of oatmeal, instant oatmeal, nut and raisin or something like that at Lady Di's in her hiker box, and fixed that this morning for for breakfast. I don't often cook anything in the morning or pull my stove out, but I did this morning. And then it occurred to me, why don't I throw some of that granola in the oatmeal? So I put a little bit in there. Wow, tasty texture and taste, and it added something, a little zing to the oatmeal. So a little hiker hack for folks who are doing that. Add a little granola to your instant oatmeal, and add a little bit of variety to that. I'll do that some more. I don't have any more oatmeal. They didn't have any at the Dollar General when I checked there in Damascus, but somewhere along the way I'll pick it up again and do some more. All right, not sure how far I'm going to get today. The first shelter is like 7.5 miles. That's way too close. The second shelter is 19 miles. Might be too far. We'll see. There's some tent sites in between. It's supposed to rain the next 2 or 3 days. It was raining when I left camp this morning. Had my umbrella out, my raincoat on, and lasted about half an hour, and then it stopped. And so I stopped, took my pack off, took my jacket off. My umbrella is tucked away here in right there in my waist pack, so I can pull it out if I need to. I took my hat off because I was getting too warm as well, needed to cool down. But otherwise, the day looks pretty good right now. We'll see what comes up. I'm sorry about that. Supposed to be some high winds coming as well, so we'll see what happens with the weather the rest of the day. It's starting to get bright out, so maybe the sun will actually come out. All right, enough for now. We'll keep hiking down the trail. Looks like I got some terrain to navigate here, so this patriarch pushing on. Well, the rain has started again. Had a nice reprieve there for a while. A little bit of Virginia Creeper Trail walking as part of the Appalachian Trail. Now we're off of that, back in the woods, and the rain has started again. So it looks like it's umbrella time once again. Maybe most of the day. We'll see. Moving on. buzzards,